All right, I'm going to show you an example of why I like open source, and I'm going to use today, I'm going to use another example. I'm going to show you, this example is Prusa Slicer 2.6, just came out. It's been in beta for a while. Basically what it does is it converts a 3D model of something to basically the codes required for a 3D printer, right? So you build a solid model, and then it'll make the thing hollow in the inside, do all that kind of stuff. And I think this is pretty cool. But what happens here, if we go to slice this, right, with the way it is we will end up, this is, I don't remember this panel in 4.6, but it's really cool. And in 2.5, I mean, but in 4.6, it's pretty cool. So because I have this overhang, right, you see this big opening on the right-hand side, and as we get up, we're like, oh, we got this big overhang to do for the shelf, and then we're going to keep going up, and it knows that we can't print that, right? So the way this, that's set correctly, what we do is we print supports in here, right? We fill it in with plastic we're just going to throw away. And I think it's pretty cool that it works, but man, it's painful. So let me go and do this. Oh, wrong thing. Now people can see that. What we're going to do is we're going to pick everywhere and we're going to slice it. And now you can see that we've actually printed all this plastic inside. And actually you can see it coming up too, right? So, and all that has to be ripped out with pliers, and it's a nightmare. And it makes super sense, and people have been printing that way for 10 years. And it's great. Somebody came up with this notion of doing tree supports, and basically it says that the thing that needs to be supported is the roof, and we just need to make sure we have enough coverage in the roof to make this thing work. We don't need to have coverage all the way down. The only part that's important is where it starts at the bottom and where it touches at the top, and we don't care what happens in the middle. So what they did was they came up with this new approach called organic. And if you do it with organic, what's really interesting is you still get enough support to hold the thing up. But if you look at this thing, right, a lot of the organic supports now actually start off the plastic. That means those don't have to be broken out of that plastic, right? They can just be torn off the end. And then we see that a few of them happen inside. But as we come up to the ceiling, they spread out to get the coverage, right? So they start with trunks, and then they get thinner and more branches at the top. And what it does is it optimizes the amount of coverage we need to print this thing. And I love these. They are like a quarter or less of the effort to pull out. And it's because on the bottom, you've only got like these 5 little circles to do now instead of that entire grid. And the rest of this can just be ripped off. And then the attachment points up top are pretty thin. So this is all done in open source. It is the coolest thing. And I am blown away by this. But I just think this is another example where open source totally rocks. And this printer, this slicer really rocks too.